Africa has been described by some as the cradle of humankind, the place where humans first emerged as the dominant life form on the planet. If this is true, then it is fair to say that every human being on Earth is a member of one global family. Nowhere else is this more evident than in the game of football. As can be seen with the history of the sport through Africa and Brazil, the beautiful game has been a unifying factor in the socio-political and spiritual struggles of a great many people.
We are social creatures, right? And in this world of ours today, in the 21st century, and I think it applies for most of the 20th century as well, we have tended to lose that sense of community. And so religion and football, I think, bring together community in really special ways. And it's not permanent, it's not always very strong, but it's there. And Victor Turner calls it communitas, right? Oneness, a community of minds. In the stadium, there's this spiritual thing that happens between even opposing fans. You're clued in on the moment, you're all in it together. There's a synergy, there's a coincidence of focus and of interest that almost never happens in modern societies anymore. And so that is, in a way, a spiritual experience in which we connect, for good or ill, with our fellow human being. And I think that's really powerful and important.
African people have a different term for the social quality, Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, which is as old as you can get in African culture as a concept, is about unity. People shorten it and say, I am because we are. And I say that's how you lose the true essence of it. In Zulu, it would be umuntu, ngumuntu, ngabantu. A person is a person because of people. And that for me is fundamental, that you understand that for me to be who I am, others around me need to be as well. And their being pushes me up and makes me who I am.
Although to some, the concept of traditional African beliefs may seem outdated or even barbaric, it must be said that it provides a means of bringing teammates together, forming bonds between them, person to person.
One can recall that I've gone through a lot of things, you know, where you're just there and you're part of the team, and the guys decide, well, we're going to make sure that you steam the whole week, especially when we're playing a cup final, and it's Chiefs against Pirates or vice versa. And the whole week after training, we now go into that steam. And from the steam, then we will also be cut everywhere, you know, and put some itchy substance, and you just become part of that.
This sense of unity extends beyond the change rooms and the playing fields. The ancestors of those who believe and play the game are called upon to be with them when they step out onto the field, to make sure that they play a good game.
It's not about the soccer match. It's about the individuals in that game. And not even about the game, because life in itself, you can look at it and say life is like a soccer match. It's about the individuals that are involved.
That spiritual power is very real to the people who believe it, and I think there's fear as a great motivator, that if you do not cross yourself, if you do not participate in these pre-match rituals, something will go wrong. Something may well go wrong. You might lose the match. You might break your leg. You might not be selected for the next match. Your car might be attacked outside of the grounds. A whole host of things could go terribly, terribly wrong at a football match. And so I think these spiritual practices and this calling on the ancestors or to the Supreme Being, you know, is part of protecting yourself and coping with these forces of the unknown that inhabit the cathedrals of football and these sacred spaces. And yeah, I think it's a very powerful thing for players, for fans, for managers who believe in it. But again, you know, I've seen people who never go to church, people who never pray, do amazing things at stadiums involving religion and spirituality. And I think that's quite interesting. Why do they do it there and only there, for instance, right? Penalty kick, for example, 89th minute, and your best striker, who has had a terrible run of form, is stepping up to the ball. He's ready to strike it home to give you the 2-1 victory. I can guarantee you that 95% of the people in that stadium are praying that he scores that goal. But for goodness sakes, they're not going to church the next day or the next week or maybe ever, right? So, yeah, and I think that captures the emotional, the emotional quality of football.
Despite the trials and struggles of the people of Africa to find themselves after years of domination by others, it is in these sacred spaces and on these pitches that something will happen to ignite the spark of Africa's renaissance. One of the most important moments for this rediscovery of the African identity happens as South Africa hosts the FIFA World Cup, the greatest show on earth. The tournament is an affirmation of Africa's ability to compete on all the same playing fields as the rest of the world's countries. The power of football to unite peoples from around the world will do something tremendous. Through the concept of Ubuntu, football is bringing the world home.
This is where the World Cup coming to Africa can serve as this bringing back of what exactly unity is in terms of Ubuntu. We are one. We are one because I am, because you are. All of these people are coming here to come and witness this spectacle. Yes, some people are just coming to watch soccer. But what is it that's going to make it an African World Cup? People must feel physically what it means to the spirit of Ubuntu. We are one. We are one people, irrespective of color, irrespective of where you come from. And when the soccer spectacle starts, for me, that's actually the background. Because what's got to be there is that when all these teams leave, get on their planes, they must be saying, I am coming back home. Not to Africa, but I'm coming back home because now I know what home feels like. Nobody can make you feel as welcome as an African.